Nuclear Throne is... Nuclear Throne is, Nuclear...
Oh my god!
Wow.
Christ, whatever, forget the intro. Welcome everybody back to the series where we look at old, current and new roguelikes from across the board to find out what about the genre is so standout, offering a retrospective on the gameplay and a history of whatever I can sink my teeth into. Today we're looking at the historic, influential, genre-defining Nuclear Throne, a game that is so standout in the action roguelike sphere that it's responsible for shaping an entire genre. We're going to be looking at the history of the game, the actual gameplay itself to see if it still holds up, and the legacy that it left behind. What better place to start than the beginning? Nuclear Throne was developed by a small two-person Dutch studio under the name Vlambeer, which was founded in 2010 by Rami Ismail and Jan Willem Nijman. Vlambeer's first game was a little arcade shoot-'em-up titled Super Crate Box. The game itself revolving around collecting crates that grant you random weapons and boosting your score as you defeat a horde of enemies that get faster and more deadly if you don't deal with them fast enough. So you're constantly swapping weapons, some of which kill you, this gun my beloved, whilst making sure you don't get overwhelmed from not killing enemies fast enough. There's no end goal, just beat your high score and unlock more levels, characters and guns. The game itself released on Steam and is free to play, check it out. Later on, garnered itself a port to Mac, as well as iOS, PS Vita, Switch, and even a Commodore 64 port. Seriously. The game earned some generally favourable reviews, with publications praising its addictive nature as a pick-up-and-play title, something Vlambeer would soon specialise in. After working on Super Crate Box, Vlambeer would experiment with several other smaller titles, including even being picked up by Devolver Digital in October of 2011, to develop a spin-off title for Serious Sam called Serious Sam The Random Encounter, which itself pulled in average reviews. At the time, they were also working on another title known as Luftrauser, which was another shoot-'em-up game but focused more so on aerial combat, which was released as a flash game, and much like Super Crate Box, was pretty well regarded. With all this experience and a spotlight on Vlambeer, in early 2013 they were approached by a small indie developer of a somewhat popular game to participate in a game jam. A game jam being an event where game developers have to make a game from scratch, usually in a time limit or to certain specifications. That game jam being Mojang Humble. And if that sounds familiar to you, that's because it was a joint charity event hosted by Mojang Studios and Humble. Yes, that Mojang. The small indie developer was Notch. I tricked you. In this 48-hour charity event, Vlambeer made a game called Wasteland Kings. This title was short-lived due to some copyright issues. The final title was Nuclear Throne. After the game jam, Nuclear Throne was to be their ancillary focus as they diverted their main attention to a Luftrauser sequel/remake titled Luftrausers. However, as time went on, Vlambeer focused more and more effort on Nuclear Throne's development, as the game eventually found itself on Steam Early Access in the same year as its epoch. The game itself was in early access for just over 2 years, slowly but surely adding more content and refining the gameplay up until the game's main release in December of 2015. The game had a great reception, both during its early access period and final release. After its launch, the game would receive odd updates here and there, as well as a port to Mac, Linux, Switch, PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita, as well as the Xbox One. The game would receive its last update, Update 99, several years later in November of 2017. Despite all this, the legacy of the game still carries on among its community, which we'll look at more detail later. After developing Nuclear Throne and Luftrausers, Vlambeer kept to themselves, as well as announcing a new game known only as Ultra Bugs. However, on the 10th anniversary of the pairing in September of 2020, Vlambeer announced that they were disbanding. The two leads of the studio decided they were moving on in different directions in the gaming sphere and disbanded the Vlambeer name. Who knows the fate of Ultra Bugs now? So that's a very brief rough rundown of the history of Nuclear Throne. A small breath of life that was able to birth games made out of passion for the cause. So how about we take time to look at the studio's first attempt at making an action roguelike? Heck, what might even be the first ever action roguelike? Let's see if the game still holds up in the year of our Lord, 2023. Booting up the game, but oh yeah, this game is over 10 years old, alright. The game itself, once in full screen, is in a 4:3 resolution, which was actually an intentional design choice to balance the game around what's on screen. Enough of that, we're brought to the character selection screen. Oh yeah. There's 12 total characters in the game, with all but 2 locked from the start. I just got a sense of deja vu saying that. Anyway, your starting characters are Fish, who finds extra ammo and can roll, as well as Crystal, who has more HP and can enter a defensive mode that deflects all projectiles. Characters in this game typically have one passive and one active ability, as well as the same starting weapon. For now, at least. For my first run, I go with Fish because he can roll. The game literally thrusts you headfirst into the world. WASD movement, mouse to aim, right mouse to use your ability. The gun we start with is simple but effective. We have 8 HP, however, most attacks in the game do more than 1 HP of damage, so you can die very fast if you're not careful. Levels in Nuclear Throne are tiny. They're procedurally generated out of chunks with paths and enemies scattered among them. Each level typically has 1 gun chest, 1 ammo chest, and 1 radiation canister. They're all self-explanatory, except the radiation canister, which gives you rads. Rads are also dropped by enemies, and they function as your XP. Collect enough rads before you clear a level, which is achieved by killing all enemies and being yanked into a portal to level up and select a mutation. Mutations in this game are your general perks. You have a selection of 4 to choose from every level up, offering such benefits as regaining life on kill, getting a one-time restore of health and ammo, or even launching enemy corpses on their death. There's only around 30 mutations total, and you can have up to 9, so runs won't be as wildly varied as they can be in other games. This works with the game, however, helping its arcadey style of gameplay, as well as making runs more deterministic. With this said, I take the lifesteal, since you can't go wrong with extra health. Since the levels are small, they're divided into worlds. The first world is the desert, with its industrial style music and sun-scorched bandits, with bleached carcasses littering the place. The art of this game is simplistic and small, but gets the job done exactly as much as it needs to. Though saying that, the character and boss splash art is top notch. The real flourish this game brings though is with its sound. Combat is heavy, bassy and visceral, with the bolder punching impact from most weapons and gratuitous amounts of screen shake. As I'm fighting for dear life on the first level of the desert, we're introduced to the first boss, Big Bandit. Much like we were, he's thrusted into the world and opens fire instantly. No health bars or pretty attacks. Bosses in this game are incredibly simple, but a pattern you'll see with the game is that simplicity works. We clean the floor with him before clearing the rest of the stage, snagging a slugger, my favourite gun in the game, as we're sucked into the level end portal and take a mutation which grants us extra chests every level. After the desert, we're taken to the sewers. This isn't the next world, however. Each world has an intermission stage between them, which is a complete change of scenery, usually dark, and only 1 level long. A cool way to spice up progression and add diversity to the environment, without every world being 3 levels long. The sewers are pretty difficult, with the hordes of rats and a shotgun-wielding alligators, but nothing we can't take care of. Clearing them out leads us to the scrapyard. Since this is another mainline world, it will be 3 levels long. The rainy environment is complemented by fire-breathing traps, salamanders, crows, and these snipers that explode when killed, which kills you. That's how fast a run in this game can end. Runs in this game are very fast-paced and short when compared to others in the same genre. This works excellently in the game's favour, making it easy to hop back in after a stupid death like that. So let's try again then, yeah? Right, starting over again as we do the same song and dance, picking up new guns like a funny laser pistol and the world's basiest machine gun. All guns in this game, even your starting one, have limited ammo, but ammo pickups seem to be pretty forgiving. As well as this, moving over a weapon without picking up will grant you the ammo from that weapon. Also, ammo is divided up into 5 different classes: bullets, shells, bolts, explosives, and energy. There's a deceptive amount of weapons in this game, each divided into different families. My personal favourite family, as previously mentioned, being any from the Slugger family. We make it back to the scrapyard and oh lord, I almost did the exact same thing I did last time. Not today. We make it deeper than last time to this absolute gauntlet of a stage. snipers and fire blistering the battlefield, taking me down to 1 HP. However, the enemies drop medpacks sometimes, so using my roll I slide on in and grab them. The roll doesn't offer you any iframes or anything, just pure mobility. There's also this weird looking statue that I break, and it summons a bunch of space cops. We'll see more of these guys later. We make it to the last stage of the scrapyard, which fittingly has a dog. A big dog. He don't bite, he just shoots a spiral of bullets, rockets, and Jesus Christ, my ears! Ow! After killing it, we take the only HP upgrade in the game and end up at the next intermission stage, the Crystal Caves. This place is full of really tanky crystal spiders and crystals. I remember 10 years ago, these guys causing me so much stress with their hit scan lasers, so we take them out as fast as they can shoot, leading us to the next world, the Frozen City. Populated almost exclusively by robots, the Frozen City is quite literally just that. The remains of a civilization devastated by nuclear winter. There's patches of ice that slip you around, robot wolves that employ a dervish attack to launch projectiles at you, hunky looking robots that slide towards you and pick up cars to huck at you, and spider tanks. Do you remember that weird statue that spawned the space cops on the last world? We find it again, triggering the same sequence of events. However, this time, we charge it up with the rads from fallen enemies, allowing us to enter a place known only as the Crown Vault. Here you can take a crown, which are risk versus reward items. For now, I take, none of them, because I lack confidence. A bare head is a fair head. Crowns are an interesting way to spice up gameplay, and can even be kept as starting items if you win the game with one. Think of these as like Risk of Rain artifacts in a way. Dashing out of the Crown Vault takes us to the third stage of the Frozen City. Not much happens here other than... this guy. Little Hunter is the most nightmarish boss in the game. He dives around the map, launching fire, hails of bullets, explosives, all the while spawning more cops to swarm you. Pure chaos in boss form. Even his death is led on by him spiraling out of control and exploding. Yes, this can kill you. Thankfully, with our minigun we were able to clean him out, as well as this army of pre-whatever causes nuclear wasteland event robots out. With that being the boss of the Frozen City, we go to the next intermission stage, the labs. The labs are populated by freakish mutants in similar aesthetic to the playable cast. The place is claustrophobic, with exploding guys rushing around every corner in the darkness. One wrong move and we could easily end up being dead. But with the necromancers continually reviving everybody, maybe that fate doesn't sound so bad. They also don't make it any easy for us, but our plasma cannon? Oh yeah, that makes it easy for us. What is this place? Are the mutants, the playable characters, some freakish experiment gone awry? The universe of this game is never explained fully, so it's left to speculation. It's the final world of the game now. Ish. Welcome to the palace. Maybe we can find the titular nuclear throne here. The space cops seem to be following us, fighting alongside these neon green aberrations made from radiation. Oh, I forgot to mention, I took an ability between the last stage called Throne Butt. Its effects vary based on the character that takes it, which for Fish replaces his dodge with a cool water-powered boost ability. Really cute. The music and atmosphere of this place is very foreboding. What exactly are we to find at the end of this palace? Well, we might not even make it there at this rate with all the silly damage I'm taking. We get lucky with our loot drops, even finding a big weapon chest with some cool looking guns in them. However, it's time we get to the third level of the palace. After a long walk down the red carpet, we found it. The throne itself is the final boss. It waits no moment to open fire upon us. But instead of fighting back directly, I take out these generators on the side of the arena that lower its health dramatically. This also has the side effect of, well, letting us loop the game. You can typically end your run then and there, but the real runs start after you loot. Unfortunately for us, I get my ass handed to me by the cops that spawn on the kinda first level of the loop. The enemy puts up a shield that deflected all of my minigun shots right back at me. Oh boy. Well, no bother, let's try again then, yeah? The run was only 15 minutes long. You know what I mean now when I said the game is bite-sized. Oh bloody hell, that happened again? Ugh. So this game has plenty of characters, one of which is cult icon YV, short for Young Venus. This man, this god, actually didn't debut in Nuclear Throne. He instead debuted in another game made by Vlambeer that I omitted from the history lesson. Oh, cheeky me. The game is known only as Gun Gods and was made back in 2012 for a video game focused website, Venus Patrol, to help promote it. The game is pretty much a Wolfenstein 3D clone. It is pretty decent and can now be played for free on Steam. The music does go kinda hard, I'm not gonna lie. But whilst you're shooting through this little game, who do you see in the elevators, on the TV screens and giant paintings, and well of course, battling you on top of a rooftop? That's right, the god of guns himself, YV. What a backstory. Anyway, Vlambeer used his likeness again in Nuclear Throne, maintaining his gun god nature by giving him the passive trait of firing guns faster, and with his ability to shoot twice at once. You can even go to his mansion, a level from Gun Gods. It's full of enemies from the original game, as well as music from Dose 1. YV's legacy didn't end with Nuclear Throne. He would later be referenced in media and games by other studios, even getting his own shrine dedicated to his image in Enter the Gungeon, as a canonical god in that universe. Also, Dose 1, the artist that did the music of Gun Gods, YV's mansion, and voices YV himself, went on to do the theme tune for Enter the Gungeon. Small world in the gun-focused game hemisphere, huh? Okay, let's try again as Melting. I love Melting. He's able to explode enemy corpses, but the trade-off is really low HP. And then I died on the next run. And then the next run. And then the next run, and the next run, and the next run, and then you get the picture. Nuclear Throne is visceral, it's hard, it's fast-paced. It's an action roguelike distilled to its most purest form of arcade-focused action, while still having the beats of a roguelike. The game practically invented the term roguelite, but that moniker usually causes a lot of confusion and diversity among the community, hence why I prefer the term action roguelike. I'll save showing the next runs fully, because most runs are typically the same feeling level-wise. Due to the exact same stages every time, a deterministically low pool of mutations, the only true variants you get on your runs are your character choice, what weapons you find, of which there's a stupid amount to keep stuff varied, and little things like tile arrangements. But that's okay, the game thrives off of its simplicity. Less is well and truly more for this game, even down to the gameplay itself. The combat is heavy, guns shake the entire world and push your audio processor to its limit. Melee weapons are some of the best I've seen in a game like this. They're impactful, and all of them can break bullets. Most of them can also deflect shots, leading to so satisfying moments like this. Another fun thing about combat is that enemy corpses are actual projectiles. If you launch an enemy's corpse into another, it'll deal damage. There's even a mutation that amplifies this. Combine that with the bone-crunching melee and you have a game about guns where hitting things with a sledgehammer is the best gun you can find. Compared to other games of the same genre, there's no item rooms, no shops, no boss rooms or anything. Levels are over as fast as they begin, and it's just pure action. Nuclear Throne is chaotic, and because of this, addictive as hell. Runs being short and sweet make it easy to pick up right after a gnarly death or squeeze in a couple of loops. Years ago, when comparing the games to others like Binding of Isaac and Enter the Gungeon, I always thought that Nuclear Throne could do with more. However, the more I play the game nowadays, the more I appreciate how much it does with so little. I wouldn't mind more characters and maybe alternative paths to take, but I think the game is in a perfect place content-wise. Now you're probably thinking that the game isn't that deep. Well, there's one place the game isn't lacking depth, and that's with its secrets. Like a truly old school game, Nuclear Throne is drowning head to toe in secrets. From entire stages, characters, weapons and bosses, there's so much to uncover in this game. An example I'll give you of a secret stage is YV's mansion that I mentioned earlier. To get here, you need to find a screwdriver before the first scrapyard level, and use it on the different looking car. After that you can teleport to the mansion to score yourself some golden guns. Golden guns can actually replace your character's starting gun if you finish a level holding them, letting you use them on future runs. Heck, even the true ending of the game is considered a secret. I won't show you that today, that's something you're going to need to figure out for yourselves. All of this really makes the game feel arcadey in the best way possible, something Vlambeer figured out really early on in their lifetime. I also need to fit this in here. The game itself has some interesting world building for its size, with loading screen tips and secrets alluding to a small but interesting universe. The playable characters even speak their own made-up language, which can be translated back to English. The only characters that don't speak this language are the IDPD, the Space Cops. They inexplicably speak Finnish. I have no idea why, because well, Vlambeer is Dutch. What are they alluding to here? Did Finland cause the apocalypse? Oh my god. When it comes to meta progression, besides unlocking characters, they also have alternative skins to unlock under certain criteria. You can also change a character's starting weapons, so finding your favourite golden gun for your favourite character is something to shoot for. As well as this, there's the crown system, which you can collect to start new runs with. It's unlike other roguelikes. Besides characters, you have everything unlocked from the start. All weapons, all levels, and all endings. They're there for you. Despite the game ceasing development many years ago, it still left a fire burning in the souls of the community, leaving behind a dedicated fanbase and an impact on the genre for years to come, inspiring games such as Enter the Gungeon, Dead Estate, Axolotl, to name a few. The role Nuclear Throne played in the action roguelike genre is not one to be underappreciated, but its legacy doesn't just carry on in other games. Remember that passionate community? Well, due to some incredible talent among them, they have continued to support the game with mods. And not just any mods. How does fully supported online co-op multiplayer sound? Yeah, this amazed me too when I found out. The game normally only has local co-op, but with this incredible mod, you're able to play with your friends on your Steam list, making it one of the most hectic and addicting multiplayer experiences you can feel. Roguelikes are rarely co-op, especially online co-op, so seeing that title brought to Nuclear Throne is phenomenal. Nuclear Throne Together, that's the name of the mod, I can't escape, don't starve, can be downloaded from their website, or even accessed from Steam itself. The mod offers way more than just co-op. It can also be used to crank the frame rate up past 30. Honestly, I wish I knew this before I recorded all the footage, as that was the one complaint I had for the game, but with the mod installed, it's moot. You can also increase the aspect ratio. However, as mentioned before, the game isn't designed around a non-4x3 aspect ratio, so I kept it as the default for now, but the option is there. As you can see in the background, Tig and I have been playing a bunch of this game together. We had some runs with all sorts of characters, and even one we were able to loop, and meet all matters of horrors. Play it yourself to see what you're missing. And if that's not enough for you, Nuclear Throne Together is also a mod loader, meaning it supports all other sorts of mods, of which there is a throne butt ton. You want more characters, stages, weapons, complete overhauls? I'd have to make a video checking out these mods someday. There's mods that turn the game into dicey dungeons and even Risk of Rain. So even though the developers have left the game in a fantastic spot, the modding community has been able to elevate the game into a new position of greatness among the genre. I cannot get over how impressive modding online co-op into a game is. Do you know how hard netcode is? Sheesh. Phew. And I think that's how I can explain Nuclear Throne to the best of my abilities. A short, crunchy, visceral experience that is instantly gratifying, rewarding, and downright addictive. It helped pave a path forward for the genre of action roguelikes, and a part of this game lives on in the heart of most future action roguelikes. And if that's not enough for you, the modding community is keeping the game well and truly alive to this day. Pick it up with a friend and remember, no popo. I'll give the game 5 little hunters landing directly on top of me out of 5. I originally was going to deduce points in this game for its low frame rates and locked aspect ratio, but funnily enough, they grew on me over time. And either way, by swapping to the unofficial modded branch, that can be resolved. Unless you're on console, then you're out of luck. Thank you all for watching the second episode of my silly little series. Let me know what other games you'd like for me to cover. Shout out to all of those that have supported the channel over the months, and thank you for making it this far. Take care, everybody.